Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, all in between. How are you, Jason, my brother?
I'm good. Better than you by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I'm getting over it. I had the flu. I slept for 4 days, didn't eat for 4 days.
Mm,
Yeah, so I feel better than I sound. I thought it'd be.
yeah,
Uh, so how was your week?
that was good. Yeah, not too
Yeah,
bad. Yeah, nothing special to report, but it's going
uh,
my way. So
yeah. Ma had the COVID, so she's over that. So
yeah, it's
doing well. So let's bring on Mr. Metalhead Fred Bonanno. What's up, dude? How are you?
Hello, guys. Glad you're feeling a little bit better, Vince.
Thank you, thank you.
I hope this doesn't go around. You were sick, Jason, and now Vince. I hope it doesn't come to me.
right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you
Well, quit
dodge it.
kissing me. Just kidding. So Fred does album reviews at metaltemple.com as well. And Fred, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Well, tonight, Jason, Vince, we have the pleasure of talking to another of the growing legion of female shredders, Nikki Stringfield. No relation to Rick Springfield, by the way. We'll put that rumor to rest. Nikki just released her full length debut album, Apocrypha, in September to rave reviews. She keeps herself pretty damn busy. Aside from her solo career, she's also a guitarist with the Iron Maidens, as well as a guitarist with the heavy metal band Heaven Below with her husband Patrick Kinnison, and held acoustic residence at the Hard Rock Cafe in Hollywood. So we really appreciate Nikki taking time out of her really busy schedule to sit down with us here at Creativity Talking and chat about her new album, her career, and what lies ahead for this talented singer, songwriter, and six-string slinger. So let's please welcome Nikki Stringfield.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So your background, Nikki, starting out
Mhm.
with school. Me and Jason went to college together 33
Long time
years
ago.
ago
Yeah.
for film and television and audio.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yes.
here we are 30 years later. So we have affinity for internships, and we know you did that whole thing. And I think internships are so important.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a difference between if you talk to someone who's been an intern and someone who hasn't.
Yes. Boy, it was my dream come true to get to move out to LA and intern for Warner Brothers. Some of my favorite bands were on the label, so I was stoked to get to do that. The first internship I had was actually at a talent agency in Beverly Hills called Roar.
Okay.
And I would have to completely get all dressed up, put on these crazy heels, and you had to park so far away because there was no parking. So I had to walk, and then I had to go move my car every few hours. And
Because the parking Nazis.
Oh, yeah. And I was doing something for, I forget her name, the voice of, was it Nancy Cartwright? Voice of Simpsons.
Oh, Simpsons, yeah.
So I was
Lisa,
doing something for them, but then I got the call from Warner Brothers, and I was like, I gotta go do the music thing. And then I had the coolest supervisor. I worked in the digital distribution department, uploading new music, so I got to hear everything first, which I really loved.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a blast. I got to see they had live shows there every day, and my supervisor would be like, because I'd always finish really fast. She's like, she'd grab me and like, let's go see whoever's playing. So I loved it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Right on. All right. So how long did you stay at Warner's Music?
Just for started January, so I've moved almost. I've been out here almost 12 years to the day. I moved out to LA and started interning there during my last semester of college, doing radio, TV, film, and business.
Yeah.
And I did that until probably, I think it was the very beginning of May or late April when I graduated. So It was short, but I got a lot. And then I started working for Schecter at the same time. So I was doing things at once in those just bare couple of months. I started with the Maidens. I joined an original band, and just everything all
awesome. Just get it over with, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, how cool is that? You worked at Schecter, and now you're an endorsed artist. That's wild.
I've been playing them since I was 14, so well over half my life.
Nice.
And I had been posting YouTube videos when it first started out, and that's kind of how they saw me. And when I went to NAMM, they were just like, come say hi at the booth. And I went to the booth every day, and they took me in. I didn't know a single person, and they just treated me like family since day one. And they sent me home with 2 guitars. Choose one you want. And then they gave me a job as a receptionist to help me stay in LA. And I was there for a couple of months before I went full time at PV. And so I went to PV. I worked with them at their Hollywood store for a couple of years because I could take off and tour with them.
Right.
You just go and do whatever you need to do. So yeah,
Cool.
Schecter, without them, none of this would have been possible at all.
Right. But
So
that
then,
was interesting
go
the way that you work that it, now to make money in the music. I mean, had you not had the background you had,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like it's just makes, more sense. Because if you don't know how the store works.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a whole business marketing. I took all the business stuff when I was in school. I was just a huge nerd. And I wanted to be prepared. My dad's a guitar player too, but it's like, as long as I get the college out of the way, prove that I can go try this for a bit. And luckily it all somehow just went together super.
Meant to be.
Yeah, not easy, but it just went together.
Oh, it's all hard work. Yeah.
Yeah. What school did you go to?
I went to the University of Texas in Austin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm originally from a small town south of Dallas. So it was, I didn't think I'd have to move to LA to be in a band. I thought Austin would work fine, but I just couldn't find anybody to jam with there. Just nothing really clicked. So I was always going out of town to go to concerts everywhere instead of going to football games. And I never went to one single football game. Students.
So at what age did you pick up the guitar?
I was 14. Yeah, 14. I got really serious with it. I picked up a Nirvana tab book and just learned every single song that I could in that. And then I just moved on to 2 Minutes to Midnight was one of the first riffs that I learned.
Nice.
So being in Texas, then you weren't drawn to country-ish. You went pretty much rock and roll.
No, my parents were pretty much rock and roll through and through, and never. There's very little country that I listen to this day. It's never really been my thing.
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear that. So then you're in. I know you said you were in small town Red Oak, right?
Yeah.
So when you decided to go to LA, was it I'm going to make it, or did you wing it, or did you have a game plan?
Kind of winged it. Nobody thought I was going to stay out here for sure. Cause I was I was quiet, very quiet. I had never stepped foot on a stage. I had never, I'd been doing stuff in my bedroom, at the beginning of YouTube videos and everything. So I think I'm pretty sure, including myself, I was like, I'll probably end up coming back home as soon as this internship is done and my residency is done. I'll probably be going back home. But luckily, with the job, and I ended up living with my band. They were called Before the Morning. I just they had a house that pretty much everybody lived in. And so I got to go live there with them, and I got thrown into things real
fast.
I surprised myself with that.
So Before the Morning was your first band that you were in.
Yeah.
So how did that help develop your style and your musical approach?
I didn't get to write much with them, and that's why now it's pretty much my solo thing is all me, because I didn't really get to contribute much to them, but it definitely taught me so much. The guitar playing was a lot of fun, and it was difficult. It was a lot heavier melodic metal. It was the singing of the choruses and the screaming of the verses, which is, I'm also into that. I'm into a wide variety of rock and metal. And I got to go out on my first tour. We opened for the band In This Moment, and play some bigger places. And that to me was, I had never done anything like that. I lived out of a van, so I got to do the whole roughing it month. I think it was a month in the winter, living in the van. So it was a big learning experience. But I was with them for I forget how long. I played on some of the albums, but I just didn't get to write and contribute like I wanted to. So that's why when I ultimately left them to just kind of go with the Maidens and eventually my own stuff.
Right.
Did anybody from that band go on to do anything else, or did they kind of?
That was it. No, I think that the band kept going for a little bit and kept touring. And I know our singer Adam is still out there doing his band, Alpha Mega. But yeah, I'm not sure what all the other guys are doing. I know a couple of them lived in Florida. So it's weird because we all live here, or well, not all of us, me and I know our drummer Phil and our singer Adam live here, but LA is so vast. It's hard to actually. We run into each other every once in a while, but
I'll bet. So I was going back to my first one. You picked up the guitar. Who were some of your original or first musical influences then?
Oh, let's see. Well, my dad and my mom were obsessed with AC/DC, so we heard a lot of AC/DC.
Right.
I'm a huge Pantera fan, especially being from around Dallas. So Dimebag Darrell, Kurt Cobain was probably the ultimate with the songwriting, and I don't know, I just fell in love with Nirvana when I was younger. And then after that, I kind of got into the heavier current stuff. Like Avenged Sevenfold had just released their City of Evil album. That really brought guitar solos back to light. And I was like, yes, this is new. And that means I can do the soloing stuff again too. So Sinister Gates, Kurt Cobain, probably my two biggest influences.
Nice.
And Amy Lee vocally from Evanescence. Yeah. I used to have the black hair and the eyebrow piercing back in the day.
Nice.
So you went from Before the Morning to the Iron Maidens.
Yeah.
Was that the natural transition then? How did you hook up with the Iron Maidens?
I met a couple of the guys at NAMM, and then they introduced me to Courtney and Nita. And the Dave Murray position was a rotating one at the time. And it was Neely Brosh and Nita Strauss playing the Dave Murray. And they were not full time. They both had their own things. So I kind of got thrown into the mix too. The Nikki, Nita, Neely. So that was a fun one with all of our names.
That's right. I forgot Neely was in that. Yeah, early on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She was at the same time as me. And actually, there was one show that Courtney couldn't make it. So Courtney did the Adrian position. Okay. So I did play one show with Neely. But so I got into it through that. It was a kind of, I learned real fast that the music industry, the world is so small here. Like everybody knows everybody. Yeah. So I started playing with them. My first show with Before the Morning was on my 22nd birthday of 2012. Yeah, 2012. And then a week later was my first Maidens show.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was a lot of cramming of songs.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So you were rotating then with Nita. So you never played actually with Nita on stage?
We did. There was a local venue here called Paladinos that a ton of bands would play. And she actually got up. We did a 3 guitarist lineup. I think we maybe did 3 songs where all 3 of us got up and jammed at the same time.
That's cool.
That had to be awesome.
Yeah, I think that was probably the only time.
Yeah. So have you had a chance to meet any of the members of Maiden?
The only one is Paul Di'Anno. We played in the UK. I can't remember. It's been a while. But one of the first shows we did in London, Paul Di'Anno actually got up on stage and played a couple of songs with us.
Oh, that's badass.
He sounded awesome. He came to, I don't remember if he came to sound check and we're all like, oh, this isn't going to happen. And sure enough, he did later that night, and he was only going to do 1 song with us. I think he was only going to do Wrathchild, but then he was having a good time. So I think Iron Maiden did that. And it was incredible to be like hearing that on stage. Like,
oh yeah,
it was awesome. Michael Kinney, who just recently retired as their keyboard player. But I haven't met any of the other guys yet. I hope to.
Right.
Yeah. Not yet.
So then you went from Before the Morning, a brief stint with Femme Fatale, and into the Iron Maidens, and now Heaven Below. At what time did you realize to yourself, damn, I'm a rock star? When did that hit you?
I don't think that still hit me. I'm just a huge music nerd. To me, I definitely do it just all for the love of the music. And I get to see and meet a ton of awesome people around the world. Actually, today I went and had lunch with a good friend of mine, Heather, and I met her she's from Houston, I'm from around Dallas, and we met at a Papa Roach show in, I think, 2008 in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
And we just kept seeing each other at concerts, and to this day, we're like best friends. So
awesome.
Music, the way music brings you together is just...
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful venue. Well, let's talk a little bit about the new album.
Yeah.
Your debut album, Up, and I'm going to pronounce it wrong. I even sounded it out. Apocrypha.
Yeah, you got it.
I know. And I even Googled on my review what it means, and I know it's got a little biblical term to it, right? Meaning biblical or related writings not forming part of an expected canon or scripture. So it's a deep title. But you released it, self-released it this September, and I was fortunate enough to have reviewed it for the website Metal Temple and gave it a well-deserved 10 out of 10. One of the many reasons I love the album, Nikki, was the diversity between the 12 songs. There were some hard rocking headbangers, but also some more melodic classic rock songs, some which showcase the tenderness of your vocal range. So the question is, what was the thought process behind the album's concept to just not go into the studio and say, I'm going to do a rip-roaring heavy metal album and not the varied final product that it is?
Yeah. God, like I said, I have so many influences. And since I want to sing, it kind of limits what I can. I mean, if I could do a heavier album, I know a lot of people expected instrumental or heavier. I never wanted to do the instrumental route. I love vocals and I love lyrics. I love to be able to sing along to songs. And so in Harmonies for the Haunted was my previous album. So I wanted a one word. I didn't want 4, 5. And I thought it would be something easier to pronounce, but I guess not. But I am a huge science alien nerd, and I was just watching, I think, Ancient Aliens one night, and they were talking about Apocrypha. I think somebody made me a meme that says Miri. Yes. I can't be right now, but I don't know where it is.
Vince is our sci-fi guy.
Yes. And you will probably like our new Heaven Below album. We'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
But I really liked them going into the Apocrypha title or word meaning. It literally in Greek means like forbidden text. So I thought that sounded cool. So I went with Apocrypha. And we started writing this during the pandemic when I was just stuck at home. Some of the songs are from before that. As Chaos Consumes was actually the first song I ever put out. Right. And I think Sweet Insanity I had wrote forever ago and forgot about it and found it on my laptop. But I just kind of wrote whatever was coming out in my mind. Sometimes the lyrics come first, and sometimes I have the whole song written instrumentally first, and then I have to do the lyrics on top of it. So it was a lot of sitting at home, not knowing what was going to happen with the world, like lunacy, flesh and bones. Never knew if we were going to get to play live again. And so it all just came out, and I tried to fit it all together as well as I could with it being so musically diverse.
Yeah, that's awesome album.
Well, it really is. So,
thank you.
And speaking of your songwriting, which has always intrigued me, I'm a songwriter wannabe. I'm always messing around writing songs, and most of my songs wind up becoming either poems or short stories. But I'm just wondering, what what's your songwriting process? Can you sit down and write a song, or does it have to come to you in bits and pieces?
Oh, it's different for everyone. There's been, I think when The Devil Comes Down, I was sitting on the plane and I just wrote all the lyrics and I heard the riff in my head and I went home and I figured out the riff. That was just it. That one kind of wrote itself. Some songs come so easily and they just flow out of me. Like I wrote the Devil, Where the Demons Lie. Instrumentally, that one I just wrote the whole song instrumentally, and then I had a harder time coming up with the lyrics. So it's kind of different each time. Sometimes it's super easy. Other times I've had Patrick sit down with me for the lyrics, and I'm just like, "What? I'm stumped. Help me with the lyrics here." And then he'll help me, and we kind of bounce stuff off of each other and write it as we go in the studio. But I'm one of those people who kind of likes to come with it completely finished. Improv person. I have to have my solos completely written. I can't just. I'm not one. I wish I was, but I'm not one of those people who just pulls stuff out on the spot. I'm ready to have it. Ready to go, know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But
where did you record the album? Did you guys do it yourself, or did you go into a studio? Or?
We pretty much did this whole thing ourselves. We did the drums in Doghouse Studios in Woodland Hills, which a lot of stuff has been recorded there. So we did all the drums in one day, which was crazy. We had been rehearsing with Shad, our drummer, and going over things several days, I think, in rehearsals. And then we did guitars at Patrick's studio, and then we did vocals in our friend Mike Spreitzer's studio. He's a guitar player for Devil Driver. Now his is called Verona on Venus. So we did our vocals and stuff in his studio.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and Patrick played bass in his studio. So it was kind of a mishmash, but self-release. So we did all we could on our own, tried to save money, but hey, we've got great gear. So
and that was you kind of mentioned Patrick helped you here or there, but that was my question was seeing how it was like your debut or your solo project. Did I was going to ask how much input he had on it when you were creating, or did he just step back and say, and I'm going to try to do this in Patrick's voice, baby, it's your project, you go for it.
This one,
I know that's not a very good Patrick impersonation, but it's the best I can come up with.
Oh my God, that's great. This one, it was much more of a collaboration. Harmonies for the Haunted was mostly pretty much all me, with the exception of him helping some like he helped so much with harmonies, vocal harmonies and everything. This album, it was very much collaboration of lyrics. And since I knew I wanted to take this live finally get on stage, he would be the second guitar player. So I had him do a lot of the fills. He did a lot of the other little guitar parts and stuff. The second solo on No Surrender is his. But pretty much the rest of it was mostly my guitar. He did the bass, but I felt like I had shown myself with Harmonies for the Haunted. And so I really wanted to bring him in because he's such an experienced musician and songwriter, to bring him in and help me on this one. And it was nice to not have to play bass.
Right.
Yeah.
Help and not have to do everything. For sure.
So you have one cover on that album, the Seal song, Kiss from a Rose.
Yes.
How did you decide on that particular song to cover that song?
I've been wanting to do that song for forever. I've just always said I want to cover this song. I know if you go look online, there's a million covers of that song, obviously, but there really weren't any that are just kind of different and rocking. And so I'm like, we can do this, rock it up, do some harmonies in place of where vocals are. And I think it's been a pleasant surprise. Like the couple of shows we've got to play so far, we've started and people are like, what? And we're singing along. So I think it's been a pleasant surprise for people because I also wanted to do something unexpected. And Seal actually shared it on his Instagram stories the other day. So that was
oh, that's badass.
Awesome. That's nice. That's really nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is there one particular song on the album, if you can share it with us, that maybe has a special or personal meaning?
Oh, they all, it's weird. They all have like a different, like special love to them. I guess probably I love Lunacy. That one seems to really hit people. That one's my favorite solo, I think, that I've ever done. I really like the solo in that one. And I think the lyrics are pretty hard hitting in that one as well. So that one's probably my favorite, I think. But I really love Flesh and Bones as well.
Yeah, I really I re-listened to it again today. I listened to it several times, but I really liked "Save Me."
Mm-hmm.
It's just a killer song all the way around.
I like the spell. I mean, I like them all, but the spell particularly, yeah.
Awesome, thank you. I haven't heard that one much, so awesome. Save Me and Sweet and of course I feel like ballads come to me easiest. I have to be like stop. And you can only have one or two of those on there.
Right.
Play one during the show, but a lot of people have been saying Sweet Insanity lately too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but a lot of Save Me's and No Surrenders too.
No Surrender's great. Yeah, that was,
so.
Those two are my two favorite songs, actually. Yeah.
Are you already working on another album, or I know you got so much on your plate. Is that into making?
Gosh, we're still going hard with this one. I'm gonna do. The Maidens tour schedule has been so crazy busy. We were barely home in the last 2 months. So finally, we've got a little bit of downtime to where I want to do a lot of playthrough videos for this and really kind of promote it again. We'll do at least one more video single off of it. And of course, I'm ready to start writing the next one, but we're shifting gears to the new Heaven Below album called The Majestic 12.
Cool.
Having to do so with
There you go, Fred. You got a show coming up in Vegas as well, don't you, with John 5?
Yeah. We're doing, my solo band is doing the Schechter Indie Nam party, which is kind of where it all started for me too. Crazy to actually be playing it. Oh, I'm sorry. He hears it. And so we'll be playing that 2 days before, and then we'll drive up to Vegas and open for John 5, which is awesome. Crazy. Which is his booking agent reached out to me, and I was like, "Is this a joke?"
Right.
Real? And I was like, "Oh, this is real. Of course, we're gonna do that." So,
yeah,
really stoked.
Yeah, he always seems like a cool guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't he say, "Come on out"? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, John.
Yeah.
Serious? Because
he's an amazing talent. Yeah.
I mean, incredible. So that's going to be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the new Crew album is going to sound like with him playing. That's going to be interesting.
No,
it's going to be good, you know.
Yes, Marty Friedman on the rest of the tour, or most of the rest of the tour. So, God, I wish you knew. Yeah, he's got. I forget who's on the California shows, but yeah, it's different people. But I think Marty Friedman's on most of the tour.
Nice.
Yeah. So good shows. Good shows.
So you've got the Maidens touring. And what are your plans for a solo tour? Are you going to try to squeeze it in there?
Oh man, I would love to. The hard thing about that is, as a complete self-funded solo artist, is the logistics of traveling, I've always played with the Maidens pretty much, so all that's kind of done for you. But as the solo artist, I have to do that for everybody in my band. So logistically, I'd have to see the offers from venues and try to put something together. I would love to. Maybe we can make some more like a small run here and there, but it's definitely on my to-do list because if you don't tour for your album, I mean, that's what you got to do, right? So
it's definitely expensive, though. I mean,
that's the main thing. I've definitely learned that just from our little 2 shows in Arizona, and that's a lot to be put on you as just the main person to be doing everything. So it's a learning experience, but
location ain't vacation.
Being in charge isn't so fun all the time.
Right.
I enjoy getting being in the maidens and be like, where am I going?
Exactly.
Where we're going? Where we're staying? Sitting on the
Wake me up in Schenectady.
Right.
They all seem like one city, like almost a Spinal Tap moment. You have to have the city in front of you. I love Chicago.
Yeah, they all starts to blur together when you're out there for so long.
Oh, for sure.
Tour bus.
So it kind of leads into my next question then is, with so much on your plate, the Maidens, your solo career, Heaven Below, Patrick's touring with Lita Ford.
Yeah.
How do you manage to balance all that and have a personal life?
It's difficult. You should see our calendars.
I was going to say, what's the calendar? Yeah.
Where, I have to be like, okay, what days are we both home? And we both do acoustic shows when we're home, and trying to tell venues when we're available for acoustic gigs is almost a nightmare. I'm like, well, we're not home together much. So
Right.
it's hard. Luckily, that's why we love doing music together when we're both home, when we can. And we do get to see a lot of each other when we're home, because we do like to work on the same stuff. So that's a big plus that I'm sure not a lot of other touring musicians have. But, being home with the fur babies, we enjoy every single second, because I've only been home 2 days, I think, and I'm so excited to be home for the rest of the month, minus Vegas, like not having to get on a plane for a little bit. I'm so excited for.
So speaking of that, do you board them when you guys are both on the road, or you have somebody that you trust that holds the fort down for them while you're gone? Or?
So lucky, we have amazing neighbors and friends that help look after Rolo, and he's like part of their little family. And they check on the kitties. I have 2 cats too, so yes, that's one of the hardest parts of touring is leaving them in that home. Of course,
I just got my. Recently got she's 6 months old now, but it's my first dog after 16 years.
Oh,
and so I'm remembering like all the ins and outs.
6 months old.
Yeah, and she's a monster. She's already pushing 50 pounds. Yeah. So.
What kind?
I think a little bit of everything. I don't know. There's some pit bull in there. I'm not sure. Webbed feet, so I don't know if it's some lab maybe, but I did those online calculators, and for whatever that's worth, they're saying maybe like 90 pounds when she's full grown, that range. So
my little Rolo would probably love her, because he loves the big dogs. He's small, but he thinks he's mighty. So
right.
Play with the bigger pups.
Yeah, we had a little one too. My wife and daughter are pushing me for another one. We had one we had to put down a couple years ago, and same thing, little 10-pounder, but he thought he was the big dog.
Oh, they always
All
do.
The little dogs have that Napoleon complex.
Oh, for sure. His best friends are our singer Kirsten's 2 pit bulls, and I mean, never seen such pure love. We're actually going to go see them this weekend. Can't even say their names because he
knows.
He knows we're talking about. We're talking about you. No,
there he is. Hi, Rollo.
What's up, Rollo?
Rolo.
The tail going.
Named after. He sure acts like it.
Named after what?
Viking.
Oh, okay, right on.
Yeah, from the show Vikings, and so he's named after a badass, but I guess it fits. So he thinks.
Right.
Yeah, because there was a character on TV when we were kids on Sanford and Son.
Oh yeah, Rollo.
Oh really?
Rollo.
Lamont's friend.
Our neighbor Lamont's buddy.
Funny, I didn't know that.
I'm like, Rollo, that's cool.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's the candy, but it's named after the Viking. But he looks like candy, so go eat it.
Nikki, you had a favorite song you like to play live, like say with the Maidens, and then overall, is there one song that you go, can't wait to get to this one?
I love playing Power Slave because I love the solos in that one. I love the solos, and we just started playing. Oh my gosh, Not Seven Sun. Why am I blanking right now? What is that song? We just added. Oh, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner.
Oh, nice.
We
Yeah.
just started playing that one for the first time last month. So when a new song gets added, that's kind of my new favorite because it's like, ooh,
Mhm.
new,
Right.
it's exciting. And that one's got a fun solo too. So right now, it's kind of that one just because it's new and exciting
Yeah.
and fresh. And we do switch out the set list a lot. So yeah, it's
Power Slave. That was the Power Slave tour. That was the first time I saw Maiden actually on that tour. It was unreal.
I'm so jealous. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite Maiden album, I think.
Yeah, I think it's up there for me as well.
Yeah, that's right when they were at the pinnacle of all Maidenness, you know.
I still love Rhyme of the Ancient
Not just
Man,
counting
so I
anything
never
else,
tired of
you
it.
know, but that was the shining moment, you know.
Yeah.
We saw them at Power Trip, and God, Bruce sounded incredible. I think that was actually, I mean, I've only seen them, I think twice. I've seen them on the Book of Souls and the recent kind of greatest, the Legacy of the Beast, and
Mhm.
I think he sounded the best I've ever heard him
Wow.
at Power Trip. I was like, God, they sound good. They
Yeah.
may be the best sounding band at Power Trip, but yeah,
They're amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, they are something else.
It's
Yeah.
I've
amazing
always
that you can
said
do this for
how
60 years now, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
And he
how
runs
pretty that name is.
jumps and like him running around, jumping and having the breath and the stamina to do that is.
Oh yeah. And then go fly the plane.
Yeah.
And go
Yeah.
do this and do a book tour and what
Right.
what else he does is like, God, does that man?
Right.
Not many
He's got-
artists can be on the stage like that anymore. They're far and few between now that really have it. They still have that energy.
Yeah.
He's got a solo
Scorpions
thing out now
still do.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just recently,
Yeah.
yeah.
About to do his solo. I think he's doing a solo tour too coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Mandrake Project?
Yes, that's
The
it.
Mandrake.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mandrake Project.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean his voice just never
Mm-mm.
falters, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we've already got tickets to see them in October, so we'll be going to the next one for sure.
Right on.
First time I saw Maiden was backing up Van Halen at the Chicago Stadium. Think
Oh,
about
wow.
that. That was back in the day when you always had two killer bands.
Yeah.
Imagine Van Halen and Iron Maiden, and then next week you'd see Sabbath and Priest on the same bill. Those were the days. I miss
Yeah,
those
that-
days.
Yeah.
Now I see a band and they have a cover band I never heard of, and I go, "Come on, dudes!"
Mm-hmm. Yep, or some bands you've never heard of. Yeah, I don't get to go to shows often anymore, so
Right.
Yeah.
no, that was what was cool with Power Trip was it was just two bands each night, and it was just like, God, you don't have to get there early to wait for anything. It's just these two killer bands are coming on, and
Right.
Yeah,
that's it.
that must have been phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. I had to miss the next day. I missed AC/DC and Priest because we had a gig in Vegas.
Mm.
So I flew that morning, went and flew back because I've never seen Metallica or Tool. So I was like, I'm not missing this.
Right.
Oh yeah, that was a no sleep weekend, that's for sure. But
Yeah, we got in a month span. I'm going to see KK's Priest, and then like a month later, Judas Priest, which is going to be wild.
oh,
I can't wait to see. KK is coming to a small little venue by us, about 900 seats. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah,
And
they're
Judas is
yeah.
and Judas is playing about a 6,000 arena place, so it's not huge, but I mean, Priest is like my all-time favorite band. I love Judas Priest.
Yes.
I wish they'd make up with KK, and maybe Glenn could get well enough to get back on stage with him, but he's pretty bad.
That ain't happening.
Probably not. Probably not.
You know. Everyone wants to enjoy themselves at, you know.
Yeah, I was telling Vince I had an idea, and it'll never ever happen. But put together one tour, one day of all these bands that hate each other, and have them all reunite, like have Skid Row with Sebastian Bach, and get Kiss back with Ace and Peter, and Queensryche with Jeff Tate. And just get all these bands that hate each other and went their separate ways to one show. I know it'll never happen, but it's a dream of mine. It's a dream of mine.
That would be quite a reality show, actually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine a fisticuffs in the back.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that would be something, though. We're looking forward to the new Priest album. That's Patrick's favorite.
Yeah, they dropped another single today, I think, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Trial by Fire? Was that the
No,
first?
there's one. Trial by Fire was earlier, but there's another one.
That was the first. Yeah, I think it just did drop today. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Halford is just killing it.
Still sounds great.
Dude, those new songs are so good.
Yeah.
So good.
I love Richie Faulkner too. What a player, you know.
You know, and we've done Judas Priest album by album and broken down by song, their entire catalog. And never got listening fatigue to Rob Halford. Never. Him and Dio are the only two people out of all the retrospectives that we've probably done about 15 of them. Different bands, Kiss, you know, 1, Part 2, Sabbath, you know, but nothing like those voices, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I just don't find those anymore, really.
Priest has never put out a bad album. Everything they ever put out was good.
Yeah.
A couple bands out there that I love, you know, their albums could be here or there. But Priest never disappointed me. Every album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nikki, this is going to sound like kind of a silly question, but I got it on my list, so I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay.
The world of hard rock and heavy metal has been pretty much male dominated, but in the last 20 years or so, I've seen a much welcomed change with amazing female artists, either fronting bands or as solo artists like yourself, changing the landscape. And I'm sure you're proud to be part of this change. So it's kind of a two-parted question. What were some of the challenges that you may have faced when you first started out? And is it time we put that female fronted band label to rest?
Well, I've been asked many a time, how does it feel to be a female guitar player? And I'm like, well, I've always been a girl, so I don't know anything different. Luckily, I had a dad who was very supportive of it. And I feel like with the rise of the internet, you know, you see that we're everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like there were probably a ton of female musicians around, but, you know, it was just harder.
Fred knows that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
He does hate that.
It's not a chick band. It's a good fucking band.
Yeah.
Period.
Or the whole label of female guitarist versus guitarist. Still
nothing changed. They were always there.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we've always been there. You know, like our drummer Linda was in Phantom Blue, more amazing female musicians there. But I feel like now we're, like I said, we're everywhere. Yeah. I just feel like it's a little more accepted, and with the internet, you see us everywhere a lot more than whereas back in the day, it was just kind of what MTV or labels would put out there.
Right.
But yeah, luckily, especially at our shows, we see so many kids out there, and so many girls too that are like, yes, I play guitar, I play drums, I do all this stuff. So, and every time I swear, every time I get on social media, I see a new player that I've never seen before, and they get younger and younger and better, and it's like, oh shit. You know, there's going to be no problem replacing, you know, us as we get older. Like, you know, we have 2 amazing new players that just stepped in for the Maidens, and you know, there's really just no shortage of badass players now.
Right. You know, like, you know, when people would say that, I'm like, no, I mean, you had the Runaways and you had Heart, and they weren't chick bands.
Right.
You know what I mean? It drives me crazy. Because I grew up in a house full of women.
Yeah, and I was always like one of the guys. So to me, it's just kind of to be singled out as girl guitar. I was like, well, I'm just a I'm just like I was always a tomboy. I was always one of the guys just hanging out. And I mean, I feel like it has helped because there are things dedicated to women, musicians, but then it's also a hindrance when people are just literally they'll be like, I don't want to listen to you just because you're a girl.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, real stupid.
So it goes both ways, I guess, still
Right.
to
So
where
you started like reacting to music videos, right?
Mhm.
As well as doing the interview show or the Saturday show. And then what wound up happening from what the people who started to watch our channel were reacting to, now it's like that's all pretty much recovers international metal bands and hard rock bands that just happen to have all female members or most of them.
And are
The
killing
music's
it.
great. Doesn't matter what it is.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. If it's good
When
music.
you mention it during the stuff, it's like
Yeah.
Handmade, Baby Metal, like all these like
Yeah.
Warning,
Love Bites.
all these bands.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
They're killing it.
Yeah. I tell people if you can turn away from the stage and close your eyes, do you know it's a girl up there or girls up there playing?
Yeah.
Might as well Kirsten singing. I mean, if you close your eyes, you can't really tell the difference, can you?
I've seen Joan Jett 15 times. She's amazing, you know.
Never seen her.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great question, because it's I feel like it is changing.
Yeah.
You know, because just good is good.
That's
exactly.
right.
You know, there's too many labels going on these days.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
agree
even
with
trying to find music. What kind of music you like? Oh, I like this.
whatever subgenre of I don't even know what that means anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to upload your music for digital distribution, and I use CD Baby. Yeah, no. Yeah, CD Baby. The amount of like genres that I've never heard in my life are like,
oh yeah,
what is this even a thing? Some of them are flat out hilarious. I'm like, who comes up with this stuff? And then subgenre, how about just hard rock? Like,
right.
Well, that's like being our age too. Like, and I hate to say this, but what the hell is yacht rock? Am I the last person?
Like the Eagles and Bruce Hornsby, Michael McDonald, dudes.
I saw that and I go, I couldn't even take a guess as to what that would be. I was like,
Eddie Rabbit. I love a rainy night. Yeah, we're supposed to get like a foot of snow here.
Well, good.
Oh my gosh.
Serves you right for living up there.
Yeah, well, it does.
We're complaining that it's like in the 50s here, so I can't even imagine that.
Yeah,
no, we'll trade you tomorrow. Believe me.
Ellie.
Ooh, yeah.
We got 2 inches of snow the other day, and it was so wet and heavy. I broke my back. I had to do 3 driveways. I broke my back. It was so heavy. Now they're calling for 12 inches tonight. So
get your shovel.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Uh-huh.
Cannot even imagine that being from Texas and then here. It's a little bit of. I mean, a lot of snow is like a little bit of sleet or slush to us, and the whole world shuts down.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in Memphis a few years ago, and we were walking around the city, and like nobody was out. And we got in a cab, and we said, "Where is everybody?" He goes, "It's 50 degrees. Everyone's home freezing." I go, 50 degrees in November in Chicago? We're walking around in shorts and tank tops.
Yeah.
But you get used to it. Like you get used to the heat, and we get used to the cold, I guess.
Oh, man, well, y'all be safe, because I'm sure y'all are like, it's just an annoyance at this point.
Yeah.
So what is the rest of 24 looking for you? 24, 25.
Well, 24 for sure is the new Heaven Below album. We're finishing that up. Looks like a lot of touring with the Maidens, and hopefully I get something together with my stuff, and lots of pushing for Apocrypha. Just keep promoting and pushing that, and just keep busy. Just keeping busy.
Good.
Yeah.
And we're always working on new music.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
So what was the song when you were a kid that lit the light in your eyes and like, that's what I want to do?
Ooh. I really loved Van Halen's Dreams. You know, it's funny because I was born in '90, and that when that song came on at the end of the movie, and like all the fireworks are going on, I was like, I love this song. I love
Yeah.
this. That was probably one of my favorites, and I was a big Tom Petty. I would always walk around the house singing Tom Petty. Anything
He
Petty.
was great. One of the best bands ever.
Yeah.
I never got to see him either.
His
So
band was just
killer.
incredible.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Totally cool guy too.
Oh,
Yeah, I got to smoke a joint with him.
Yes.
He was a cool guy.
okay.
And then we wind up shooting a commercial, and it was at Bob Dylan's house, right? Because his son was directing.
Mhm.
So used to be a special effects guy, and so out comes Tom and Bob, out of the garage, and he walked up right, hey man, blah blah. I'm like, Tom Petty remembered me. That's crazy, But totally cool guy, unassuming, just a humble,
Right.
Southern dude.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
So, what was one of your favorite gigs so far, or something really cool that no one really,
I guess for my own, it would be that my solo release show because I had so many people fly in for that. It was such a special thing. I had my friends open, parents flew out. I had people from all over the country fly in. So that was just really like a surreal, special thing to finally play my own stuff live. Right. And then Patrick and I actually did an acoustic gig, a 3-hour acoustic gig the next night, just down the street for all the people that flew in. So that was quite a weekend. With the Maidens, we've done some incredible gigs over in Germany. I think touring with Accept was probably like the highlight of last year.
That's cool.
Play, and then we're done early, and then we get to watch Accept like every night.
Right.
That was, and they were the nicest, coolest guys too. It was just a really fun tour.
I actually saw them open for Maiden on the Power Slave tour. That was the opening band on that deal.
Killer.
Yeah. There's a bar in my neighborhood, Nikki, that we go to most nights to end, and they got a jukebox, and I always control it off my phone, and I always play Balls to the Wall because that is like my all-time favorite metal song. So whenever it comes on, everybody in the bar goes, "Fred's here." So the bartender told me one day, I was kidding with the bartender, Jen, I go, that would make a great shot, the Balls to the Wall shot. So about an hour later, she comes up, she puts a couple shots in front of me and my wife, and she goes, "Try this. What do you think?" I tried it. Go, "That's great. What is it?" She goes, "That's the Balls to the Wall shot." And it went on the menu that night. So about 3 months later, I'm at an Accept show at our local venue here and had a meet and greet with them. So I pulled Wolf and Robert, the lead singer, aside, and I told them that story. They got such a kick out of it. So I got a picture of me telling them that. I showed it to the bartender the next day. I go, "Now the band knows you created a Balls to the Wall shot for them."
Nice.
She was so thrilled about that.
That's awesome.
I just saw that Joel Hoekstra is going to be touring with them this year.
I know. I just saw that today too. That's a trip.
Right.
Yeah. That'll be. Yeah, I hope to get to see him again this year.
Yeah.
Nikki, what's your dream jam?
Pardon
me.
God, I don't know. If I ever got to share the stage with Sinister Gates or the Avenged guys, that would probably be a dream come true. So probably I'd just say that, just getting to get on stage with those guys, because that's kind of they were my idols from when I was little.
Yeah.
Right on.
But yeah, I think that would be my ultimate, or getting to go up with Maiden. Yeah.
That should happen. That should happen.
Right? That would be incredible.
Right.
I'll put a call into Bruce tomorrow and say, "Bruce, here, buddy."
Just make a quick call. just let them know.
Well, thank you very much for taking time out and
Absolutely.
hanging out with us here on Crate Tip. Oh, we got a kitty.
There's the cat.
Yep.
That's Luna the lunatic. She got in
Luna.
just in time. Thank you guys. Thanks so much for having me. It's been a blast talking with you.
Thank
And
you.
your new album, Apocrypha. Say that, Fred. Apocrypha.
Apocrypha.
Yes.
Pronounce it. I had to say it real slow.
Right. So go to Nikki's website, check it out, buy some music, get some merch, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, I'm about to lose my voice. I apologize. But love you, brothers. Thank you, Nikki, for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so much,
very
Nikki.
Thank you. Hope you feel better. And
We'll see you at the Forge in May.
hell yeah, looking forward to it.
Horns
We'll
up.
stop over and say hi.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you next time at Creativity Talking.